about how are LSRTV contacting people on here?
What do you mean, James?
Oh, well, like in Northwest, they'll sometimes like during yellows, they'll grab a driver and talk to him during the broadcast. How do you guys do that?
I don't think I follow. We can go over that during the session. Qualifying is underway, so I'm going to be at the driver's chat here.
Alright, man. Lights are back on the pace car. We're not going green this time. We are not going green. Green, green, green.
Well, I don't think anybody can hear us, Jeff. Which is good, because I had a rough start to this broadcast. I don't know. They were saying that they couldn't hear me early on, like really early. And I don't know if we fixed that or not. Well, if you guys can hear us now, hopefully we're back live on the audio here, throwing us off a little bit. James Vining still leading Duel 1 here. And what we were talking about when you guys couldn't hear us is with these next-gen cars right now, obviously nobody's been running that top side. Nobody's really getting a good run. But for the majority of these guys who are sitting back behind James with Joseph in second, Kyle Green third, Purcell fourth, and Colin Stone in fifth, they're pretty much guaranteeing themselves, if they were to finish right now, a top 10 start at the official race that opens up on Friday night. So we might not see a whole lot of aggressive racing right now. These guys may just be taking the package that they're given right now. They're satisfied with the track position that they, or the starting position, if you will, that they'll have on Fridays. And of course, the 333 car of James Vining, he's ecstatic. He's already locked in as the pole sitter for Friday night. So right now, we're just sitting back watching these guys, single file till the checkered flag, but there's really no need for these guys to do anything crazy. If you try something, too aggressive, now you're talking about going from a top 5, top 10 start at Daytona on Friday to potentially getting bounced out into the top 15, top 20. So right now, that's why we're seeing these guys just, they're not as aggressive as maybe you'd like to see as a viewer, but right now they got to think about that track position and that starting position going into Friday night, Jeff. Yeah, and at the beginning of this duel, we did try to see some cars early on, try to go up to that high side, and I think at one point the most cars that we saw up there was a pack of 4, and it really didn't work out to much success for them. We started seeing those guys fit into holes on the inside, and individually just kind of broke that run off. We do have some cars on the track that are solo out here, 1 or 2 cars in a pack. We've seen some guys come down pit road. So right now it's kind of been a quiet duel number 1. We'll have to see what duel 2 brings us momentarily when this finishes. But, at least, Jeff, we can say there's been no cautions yet. It's been all clean racing. And we're getting through this first duel relatively smooth.
Yeah, absolutely. And talking to the pole sitter, too, it didn't sound like, they were real confident in this draft package here with this car. So it sounded like this was a tough draft package for this car. So, that could have a little bit of impact on whether or not anybody decides to pull out there and go for it.
Absolutely. And nonetheless, as we've said, James Vining, who's leading duel number 1 here at Daytona, has already locked himself into the pole position. We brought him in for an interview. If you guys missed that or we were having the audio issues, we won't go too deep into it, but he was more surprised than anybody that he got the pole there, Jeff. He had mentioned to us that he's not really good at the speedways. He's looking forward to the smaller tracks, even maybe looking forward to some of the road courses that are on the schedule this season. But for him to take pole at Daytona, I think he seemed more shocked than anybody.
Yeah, we actually talked about it. I'm not sure if anybody could hear us when we did. We even interviewed him there for a little bit, but it looks like we've got some takers on the outside here now. 3 cars going, a little bit of side draft going on there too. So maybe they can get up to the front here before the end of this lap.
Well, we'll see. And I think right now for some of those guys that were in the back of this pack trying to advance their starting position for Friday, now is the time to at least go out and make an attempt right there. Those guys that are on the tail end of this, Jeff, they don't have as much to lose as, let's say, the 20 car of Joseph or Kyle Green that's running third. They're looking out of the outside of the top 10 looking in, and it looks like we got our first wreck of the night here.
Yeah, 34 going around the last lap. James Vining into pit road. Looks like maybe somebody caught his bumper there at the end too.
And that's the checkered flag. So that's gonna be the first duel there, and we'll get some unofficial results there. But it does look like
looks like the Purcell of the 57 there may have been the one that got it.
Yeah, I think so. Purcell followed by Berger with Stone in third. Joseph drops back to fourth with McFadden up a total of 8 spots. Ladies and gentlemen, Lauren McFadden starting 13th in Duel 1 and got a little bit of luck there at the end with that pile up or that mishap. And she got a top 5 out of that, Jeff.
Yeah, I'm going to go back here and see if we can't see what happened here a little bit here at the end. See if we can't get maybe a blimp shot of this. There was the first accident with the 34. And then looks like a little 3 wide there. The 18 and the 333 got into each other there coming to the finish line too. And somehow the 57 just got through all of that mayhem unscathed. Just kind of parted the seas there.
Well, and it looked like the 57 was actually the car that made the initial contact with the car that was on the inside of James Vining. They went 3 wide there, and I want to say it was the 57 that made contact with the 18 first. That sent the 18 into James Vining, which then obviously you see the chaos that unfolded after that. But what was a nice, smooth, relaxing duel there definitely came down with an exciting finish. Once again, the results of that, the 57 of Purcell, Jeremy Berger running second, Colin Stone third, Joseph fourth, again McFadden fifth, Kyle Green dropped back to sixth.
Yeah,
so
definitely.
Go ahead, Jeff.
Oh, I was just going to say, I'm not really sure what happened there at the end. A lot of places swapped, a lot of mayhem there at the end. If you want to, get through the results here, I'll go ahead and see if we can't get a couple of these guys up here for some interviews while we get ready to switch to the next server here.
Yeah, for sure. Let's bring in Purcell.
people swapping positions, 'cause I don't know I don't know if
I don't think I heard any audio on the thing, did I? I'll do it. Yeah. All right, I'll do it.
that's what he meant by didn't understand what I was talking about.
Hey, what at least an exciting finish for what seemed like a little bit of a lackluster race. Obviously, with the duels, there's not all 30 cars out there. You guys are split a little bit. And some cars that were on the back had trailed off. So really up there, single file, there was only about 9 or 10 of you there. Talk to us a little bit. I mean, it didn't really seem like with this package that you can't really be aggressive. It's hard to get any momentum here. And then talk to us a little bit about what happened at the end. I think you made contact with the 18, which sent him into James Vining, and then just a great job of really driving through that.
Yeah, I could see the guys in the back. They were working together. They were trying to back off. They back off a little bit, and they try to come up on us. And I knew I was going to try to just weave to the right a little bit, try to scare them off. But when I saw them split up front, I was going to stay with. I told James I was going to stay with him the whole time. So I was just going to try to push him through. And when I pushed him, he just too much of a push. So.
Yeah, fair enough. So obviously you're going to set yourself up for a really good track position for Friday night at the official points race. That obviously being the number one goal coming in here tonight with the duels is to set yourself up for Fridays. But talk to us overall a little bit about, everybody's attitude coming in here tonight. I know you guys probably been practicing a lot, teammates, building a rapport with each other. We talked to James Vining earlier, who got pole. Seemed like he was shocked that he got it. But how's the rest of the attitude going into the duels here tonight, and looking forward to Friday night's official opener?
Well, that's actually I try to push him to the front, or when they split, because I know he's not working with anybody. I'm not working with anybody. I don't have any teammates out there, so we figured we're just going to work together since we're both in the same room together.
Absolutely. We appreciate your time. Is it Stefan or Stefan?
It's Stefan.
All right, Stefan, appreciate your time. Congratulations on taking duel number 1. We'll see you sitting up front on Friday.
Thank you very much.
Well, Jeff, are you there? Yeah, I moved him down there. So what are your thoughts? That's duel number 1 there. We kind of talked about it during the race about, nobody really pushing up that high side. But overall, a clean race. Everybody was giving each other plenty of room, and then it all came down to the last lap, really coming out of turn 4 before we saw some action. And, of course, these guys that are waiting for Duel 2, watching what just take place, do you think these guys are sitting back there saying, hey, man, we're going to put on a show. We're going to put on a better show than that,
It's always easy to say that when you're sitting there watching what's going on. But, when you get out there and in those cars and you're sitting there in P6 thinking, okay, I've got a decent starting spot in that next duel if I don't screw it up, it's a whole nother story when it comes to risking that to jump out there. So I'm sure they're thinking it.
Yeah, and not to repeat myself from earlier, but as I said, these guys that are running in the top 5, track position and starting position on Friday is going to be everything for these guys. I mean, you could try to make an aggressive move and try to win a duel, but really, Jeff, you're really only gaining a couple of spots rather than if you just sit where you're at and worry about the big race on Friday. I think that's the mindset of a lot of these drivers that are running in the top 5, top 6 in these duels.
I would agree with you. I think it is. But at the end of the day, I think we all at some point remember that we're racers. And just like you saw there at the end, patience, patience, patience. And then we saw just about the entire field get wrecked there coming to the start-finish line. So at some point, the competitive desire seems to always take over and override the brain.
Yeah, fair enough. That competitive edge. It's hard to get away from, and I know, a lot of drivers, it's hard for them to get a run or get a build of confidence and really sit on it. As we load into duel number 2 here, that's why you guys see the all black screen there. This is LSRTV live, simracingtv.com. We are with the L-TAC Cup Series here tonight. We're going to be entering into Duel 2, so don't go anywhere. Nothing's wrong on your guys' end. We're just loading into the next race session where we'll see that grid. It looks like, of course, the 13 of Mario Lapita, who qualified second overall in the qualifying. They've locked themselves into the outside of row 1 come Friday night. We got Anthony Mazzotti, Ryan Dingler, Stephen Perriott 4th, Sean Deal in 5th. And we got 15 cars here. So there was 30 that showed up, Jeff. 15 duel 1, 15 duel 2. We'll see. I feel like in that first duel, that outside line kind of got dried up relatively early. I think maybe lap 2, lap 3, we started seeing those guys break down into a single file. So maybe in duel number 2, these guys will try to race a little bit tighter and try to keep that high side going a little bit longer.
Yeah, hard to tell. I mean, I would imagine that each race is going to kind of be its own.
Leading duel number 2, Ryan Dingler close on his bumper right now. He's got the Fanatec 8 Chevrolet, followed by the Thrustmaster Chevrolet 49 of Anthony Mazzotti right there. So 2 really, really good paint schemes right there. I saw those in the Discord earlier this week, and I thought they were just really sharp. And I actually have products from both Thrustmaster and Fanatec. So it's really good to see those paint schemes out there. I love that 49. Unfortunately, I know the viewers at home are trying to make their way onto the track, but hopefully you'll see the paint schemes that I'm talking about because they're pretty nice.
All right, I think we're back up and running again. Sorry about that, guys, but I thought Brandon did an excellent job of keeping you guys up to speed there.
Having to make some switches last minute here tonight, of course, having some technical difficulties because of that. We do apologize here, but we're trying to get through it as much as possible and as competent as possible. I'm glad to have Jeff here. He's doing production on the back end and also filling in on some color commentary for us here. Now that you've got that up there, Jeff, good job with that. You can see with the people at home as well, we are fully back to single file. That double line really didn't last that long. Like I said previously, it lasted just about a lap and a half. And once we got 2 laps in, everybody was pretty much single file after that. So it looks like we're going to have another replay of what we had in duel number 1.
Yeah, absolutely. We got a little bit bigger pack, though, this time. So, I do see a couple cars jumping out. Might be a little easier to get that second line going on the outside this time. We'll see if the 09 car here can get any takers. I think the 45 is going to jump out there with him.
Yeah, and I think that's a good point, too, because if we recall in the first duel, there was quite a bit, 4 or 5 cars, maybe even more, 6, that was off pace, whether they had gone down pit road or they just kind of lost the draft. With right now, as we're seeing in Duel 2, these guys are all bunched up. All 15 cars are here, other than Tim Henderson. It looks like the 38 Ford Mustang, way off pace. He's already a lap down, I believe. But if we go to Kevin Franks here, he's on the backside on that outside line, and it looks like these guys are starting to form that outside line, and it looks like 4 strong right now. You'd like to see them bunch up a little bit more to take advantage of a 4-car draft, because right now, and it looks like we're moving to a 5-car draft now. You see the 33 car sticking up high. So here we go, Jeff, some 2-wide action.
We definitely got 2 wide, maybe even almost 3 wide there for a second, but we've got a strong second row there on the outside, and they're actually moving up on the outside of that first row. So not only do we have an outside line, but it looks like they're making some ground here.
Yeah, it looks like going for the lead is the 33 of Robert Pettengale, getting the push from the 45 of Stephen Perriott. trying to make their way side by side with race leader Mario Lapinta down the backstretch here, trying to get a run. We'll see what happens and unfolds with this, but it's a good thing. It looks like now a 6-car pack up high there, Jeff. So I think this high side does have some good legitimacy as far as this draft goes.
Yeah, and I think maybe Robert Pattengale there in the 33 and the 45 is Stephen Perriot. Look like they've worked together before. I've seen them putting a bumper to each other here, which you don't see a lot of cars do that until it really comes down to crunch time, unless they're pretty familiar with each other. But these guys are really. They're working those bumpers and pushing each other. So we've got a pretty good top lineup there that looks like they know how to work with each other pretty well.
Yeah, not just that, but I mean, he was all over his bumper, the 45 on the 33 side by side. Here comes the 33. We'll probably watch him drop down low. He does. The 45 now of Stephen Perriot going to be leading that outside pack coming out of turn number 4 onto the front stretch here, and it looks like the advantage to the outside.
Yeah, Perriot looks like he's going to hang on, though, to that high line there. He didn't drop down. And you saw the number 12 car there. Actually, I think that was a 12 drop down. So, I'm pretty sure we've got 2 teammates if he was waiting for that 12 car to drop down.
Yeah, and now, as you said, the 45 does drop down. You see that a lot in these speedways, the super speedways, that high side. It'll get a good run, but Jeff, as soon as that first place car on the outside has a clearing to go down to the bottom, they certainly do. And sometimes you'll see some shuffling going on because, like I said, as soon as that bottom line is clear, that's where you want to be here at Daytona.
Yeah, and did you see how fast that top line disappeared when those 2 cars dropped down and we went from 5 cars to 3 cars on that? Those 3 cars went straight to the back of that line.
Yeah, they did, and the big winners of that, again, is the 45 of Steven, the 12 of Logan Hamilton, as you said, and the 33 of Robert Pattengale, all getting ahead of the 13 car of Mario Lapinta. So right now, those guys able to work on the outside together. They did have 3 cars behind them. As Jeff just mentioned, they all fell down on the inside line, single file now too, but certainly taking advantage of something that we didn't see in Duel 1, and they really got that outside line cooking.
Yeah, I saw a couple cars peeking out there in the back, but, as soon as they didn't get any takers, they jumped right back in line.
Well, and probably a smart decision. Again, we saw in Duel number 1 there, Jeff, and you talked about it before we went green flag, was when you start losing the draft here at Super Speedway, that's it. It's a wrap. Ain't nobody coming to save you. So you might take a little bit of a shot to your ego to have to fall back down towards that yellow stripe and fall single file, but if it's just a decision that you have to make.
Yeah, I'm a little surprised these first 3 cars, how hard they're pushing each other. Given the fact that we've got a single file line, overheating has to be a concern in these cars. I haven't driven the next gen cars yet, but given the fact that we're running single file, there's only one line. These guys, they're still running pretty tight up there.
Inside 10 laps to go. We've hit single digits with just 9 to go. Stephen Perriot taking the lead about 2 to 3 laps ago. Worked that outside line that is now non-existent. It looks like there's a car on the tail end maybe trying to get a run, poke his head out there. Nobody else is going with him, so he falls back single file towards that yellow stripe. Here comes the Fanatec, the 8 car of Ryan Dingler trying to get a run. He's got the 49 behind him. That's Anthony Massotti. They're trying to get the outside line going, trying to side draft with Mario, the 13 Toyota, trying to get past him and catch these 3 drivers that are up front.
Okay, looks like we've got a second line going there now. 4 cars are on the outside. Sorry about that. I'm a rookie not only in the booth here, but also in this production thing, so I lost my focus there for a second, but it does look like we've got a second line going on the outside, and we've kind of got a breakaway pack there on the inside. Those 3 guys, looks like they might be successful on the breakaway.
Yeah, Robert Pattengale, Hamilton, and Perriot up front. Really starting to pull away from this pack. Right now it's the 8 of Ryan Dingler kind of in front of this second pack. And of course, if they work together, they should be able to catch those 3 guys that are up front. But we're 2 wide back there, starting 4th on back here, and we might even see some 3 wide action there. It looked like the the Thrustmaster. I don't know what number that is. But he looked like he was trying to get on the outside there just for a second, Jeff, to see if he can get around the Lowe's car. But once he saw he couldn't, he kind of fell back there. And there we go once again, that outside line just starting to dim down. Everybody kind of tucking themselves back onto that inside.
Yeah, and that outside line is really slowing down this second pack. Dirtying up that air enough, I guess, that this second pack is surprisingly losing ground on that first pack, even though the majority of it's single file there. So just those couple cars out of line. We've seen that first pack get away to over a 2-second gap now.
Yeah, and if you're these top 3 drivers, Steven, Logan, and Robert, that's exactly what you want to see. Are those guys battling it out behind them, because you are only a 3-car pack, but like you said, look at the distance that they've been able to gain from the drivers behind them. And as we come up on just 6 laps to go, they're in some good shape right now.
Yeah, and they just continue to gap. I'm, again, not real familiar with this draft package, but this is 3 guys working together, getting in line, nose to tail, not sticking their noses out too far, except for the cool. And then, actually, we talked earlier about how close they were to each other in that tight line, and these 3 cars able to just completely pull away from that, the main pack by over 3 seconds now, and it just continues to grow fast.
Yeah, it really does. These guys are in the zone right now. You see the 12 car with his paint scheme representing tonight's sponsor. We went over the schedule earlier with you guys, but of course I'm not too sure what was heard and what wasn't. But we're going to be at Daytona tonight. We're going to be at Daytona on Friday. That's going to be the official points race. That's why these guys are doing the duels here. And then after that, Jeff, we're going to head to the Daytona road course. And I'll tell you, the one thing I like about a road course early on in the schedule is, there's guys who are really, really good at ovals. I mean, if you look at Joseph, he's got an I rating over 5K. And I think his safety rating is maxed out, 4.99. So him on an oval, he's going to perform well, do really good. But then you got your road course ringers too. And I'm not saying he can't be one of those. Maybe he is. But guys who on the oval might be mid-pack drivers, top 10 drivers at best, but they're good on road courses. To be able to get a road course early on into the schedule, to be able to pick up that win, or to be able to pick up a confidence booster, you ran a top 5, maybe you got a podium. I always like to see road courses early in the schedule.
We got a car that just went off the track back there. It did not bring out a caution. Oh, and here comes a caution now.
Yeah, it looks like Kevin Franks might be involved in that. Yeah, the 98 car, unfortunately, just coming down onto the 13 of Mario there. So both those guys going off track. It looks like it was just a 2-car incident between those drivers. So everybody else is safe. But that does bring us under our first caution of the night here. Between both Duel 1 and Duel 2.
Yeah, I'm able to pull a replay up. Yeah, and it's just a couple cars swapping spots. Looked like the 38 came down, thought he was clear, and just wasn't, and collected that 13 with him. 13 did hit the inside wall, but 38 back up on the track.
He wasn't cleared by a long shot. I'm not too sure what was going on there. Maybe had an itch and his wheel jerked. I don't know what happened, but he's got LSRTV on the back bumper, so he represents the brand. We'll take it easy on him, but I'm not too sure what Kevin Franks was doing right there. He just scooped right on down to that 13 car.
Well, yeah, I'm always going to cut those house cars, LSRTV cars, a little bit of slack there, but good to see he was able to get it collected, get back up on track. And, we're going to have a shootout here. That's going to bunch everybody back up. We're going to get side by side again. And we're probably looking at a green-white checker here would be my guess.
Yeah, we're going to do a green-white checker. This is duel number 2. This is going to wrap up tonight's festivities. The official points race being on Friday. We know who's going to be sitting 1 and 2. That's James Vining and Mario. And the rest of the field now trying to get that track position to start. We had 30 cars show up here tonight, 15 apiece in the duels. So we for sure are going to have a field of 30 on Friday. I do believe I read in the notes somewhere they are going to allow some more drivers, Jeff, to be able to try and qualify their way into Friday night's race. So who knows? We might have 35 plus cars for the kickoff on Friday.
You know, that's always my favorite thing about the super speedways, and especially early in the season, they always seem to bring the big fields. And so, Daytona, kicking off a season with something like Daytona, and getting 40 cars out there. And at some point, if you want to get somewhere, you got to take some chances. Some 3 wide always makes for some super exciting racing.
Yeah, and it looks like we do have a couple of cars coming down pit road for sure. Of course, Mario and going to have to come down there just because of the damage that was assessed.
Yeah, I think I had 3 cars maybe that I saw come down pit road. We saw, I think it was Kevin Franks, Mario LaPinta, and then Anthony Musati there. I think all 3 of those guys came down pit road.
Yeah, now the good news for Mario is he was already locked in to one of the top spots for the duels, so he doesn't have to sweat what just happened. He's going to come down, get some repairs, and just go out there and finish the race. But luckily and fortunately for him, he qualified second. He's already locked in, so for him at least, the wreck that he was just involved with will have no implication on Friday night.
So, yeah, I'm not sure if these guys have a fast repair for these duels or not. That was kind of a last-minute add-in, but I don't really see any visible damage on any of these cars. So, either they've got a fast repair that came out of there unscathed, but I think we're going to have a full competitive field here.
Yeah, and if Steven wins this, so duel number 1 was led by mostly James Vining, who's already locked in. He didn't win it. That went to Purcell. And right now, Mario, who's locked in second, he's all the way at the back of the pack. So these drivers taking full advantage of the duels here, and we're gonna have a different winner at the end of these duels than the 2 guys who started up front. And I think that's very meaningful because now Stephen Perriot and Purcell, they're going to be in that second row. If Steve can hold on to it, that is, of course.
Yeah, there's still a lot that can happen. He's, if you're one of those guys up front there, if you're anywhere in this field, these last 2 laps are going to feel like they take forever. This green-white checker, it's gonna be like a slow motion scene out of a movie or something. Here we go.
Green flag, green flag.
Yep, back to green flag racing here in duel number 2. It's Steve Perriot, Ryan Dingler, Logan Hamilton, and Robert Pettengale up front.
Yeah, Logan Hamilton caught a little bit of apron there, and he did a good job of getting it back on track there without catching Ryan Dingler there on the outside. I thought maybe we were going to have another incident there, but these guys are obviously pros up there. Quite a bit of side drafting going on there. Oh, sorry, go ahead.
Oh, yeah. No, you're fine. That's exactly what I was going to bring up. These guys are going to be bumper to bumper, door to door as they make their way towards the end of this duel here.
Yeah, Ryan Dingler, and that's pretty much what he's got to do there on the outside, really sucking down there, and even a little bit of contact made there. Looked like the 33 might have come up just a little bit there, but contact during the side draft, and it's going to allow the 45 and the 12 to get out of there. Oh, just as I say that, into the wall they go.
Yeah, as we went through the white flag, the 33 made a little bit of contact. Mario LaPinta crashed. Robert Pettengale wrapped up into that as well. So as you said, that's going to allow those top 2 drivers to basically make it through there unscathed.
And, of course, because the white flag was out, we're not going to have a caution, so this race is good. And the question is the 12 going to continue to push, or is he going to try to jump to the outside? looks like somebody answered that question for him.
Yeah, trying to drag race this thing out of here to the checkered flag.
That was some fancy wheel work there with the 83 and the 45. They must have swapped fonts about 3 times there, coming to that finish line there. A couple good blocks there thrown by the 45. And a heck of a job by Hunter Thrower not to make contact there and avoid those.
Yeah, it really was. Unfortunately, my SDK was a little bit delayed there, so I'm glad you were on the call there, Jeff, because as you were calling it, I was anticipating what was going on there. You're absolutely right. Hunter Thrower coming out of turn 4 made that outside line work. It forced the 12 car of Logan Hamilton to pretty much stay behind Stephen Perriello, so he couldn't go out to the outside and make his own run. And as we saw there, a beautiful job by the 45 to do some defensive driving there. So a really good job overall by those 2 guys, and that's going to be our field right there. The field is set at least for the top 30 heading into Friday night's race, with James Vining being the pole sitter. And Stephen Perrier, he's going to be, Mario, going to be on the outside of row 1. We'll get some official results for you guys up there. Again, this is sponsored by Sound Art, or Tucson Sound Art, who I believe is taking care of the Daytona race as well, Jeff. Again, shout out to those guys. I see them around everywhere. Big supporter of sim racing. And, you know, as you said, as we read off the ad for them, I mean, they have a really great product. And you said you checked it out a little bit and said you saw you liked what you saw.
Yeah, you know, anytime you can hide that music there a little bit and some art. I always find that intriguing, you know, that, and, you know, just kind of like that Samsung TV picture frame thing out there, you know, and the products from these guys. I think they're interesting products. Yeah, I'm gonna have to go check them out some more. I wish I was ready for this race. I would give the URL and to make the real pitch, but I do know I've seen them around, and especially with this L-TAC series, enough to go check out their stuff on their website. You can certainly Google them, you know, Sound Art Tucson, and they've got some real interesting products. So encourage you guys to jump on the internet there and go check them out.
Yeah, and you can go to www.tucsonsoundart.com. But right now, we're going to bring in Duel Winner. We'll let Jeff take care of that. Bring in the Duel 2 winner in for a quick interview here, setting himself up for a beautiful start for the official race on Friday.
I don't see the Duel winner in here, so I'm going to bring up a couple other drivers who were involved in the finish, didn't get the top 3, while I go try to find the top couple finishers here. So give me 1 second, I'll grab a couple other drivers for you, and then maybe we can find the Duel winner.
Yeah, sounds good to me. So we kind of saw 2 different...
Hey, Robert, are you interested in a post-race interview?
Sure.
All right, I'll go ahead and drag you up there.
Cool deal.
You don't know where the race winner happens to be hanging out, do you?
I do not. Who's that, Steven?
Yeah.
He may have already bounced.
Well, then I guess you get to be our race winner.
Go give it, Robin.
Hey, Ryan and Hunter, I don't see our race winners here. Or Hunter, you were second, so I'd like to interview you if possible. Ryan, you were kind of involved there at the end. You know, up there reading that outside line in lieu of us finding the actual winner. Would you like to jump in the interview booth?
I'm a little heated, so probably not.
I thought I'd ask. We're trying to get into good stuff. I was picking the guys that.
I mean, the guy who runs the lane up or getting side drafted endorsed me several times. I mean, what do you expect? You're going to get turned.
All right. Hey, Hunter, how about you?
That's perfect interview material there, Ryan.
That's exactly right.
Interview.
We're all about ratings here. Hunter, do are you good to go? Can I drag you up there?
I guess, yeah.
All right. Well, top 3. So you qualified twice.
Going to be on Wednesday nights. It's a 28-week or a 25-week schedule, excuse me, that they're trying to use for a feeder series. Come on into the truck series. There's no pressure on stats or what your I rating is. The only qualification is you got to have a D 2.0 in the asphalt oval safety license, and you perform well. You have a good attitude, and you can get pulled up into the L-TAC Cup Series, which is going to run on Fridays.
So it looks like
that.
Oh,
go ahead.
Sorry about that. It looks like we just missed the race winner. It looks like he had to go, but I was able to find Hunter Thrower here, who was our second place finisher, and after that I've got Robert Pattengale there, who was involved there, up front there at the end, waiting for an interview too.
Yeah, Hunter in the 83, we saw you try to take a stab at there coming out of turn 4 on that last lap. Obviously, the 49 of Anthony threw out some really well-timed blocks out there, but man, you got a run on that outside. It was definitely some tighter racing here in Duel 2. Talk to us a little bit. It's obviously white-knuckle racing here at Daytona, but especially when you're in the middle of the pack, and then obviously the opportunity at the end for you to get second place.
Yeah, that was a good race. Brought a good car with a Badger engine. The whole time when you're at Wild, you're in mid-pack, you're always constantly calling out to your teammates or anybody you're racing with, like just what kind of runs were coming up. It was stacking up a lot, trying to save fuel. I guess that's what they were trying to do, but yeah, it was just mayhem always when you're in middle pack, and it was a lot more racing than Duel 1, of course, a lot of side-by-side racing, and obviously some 3-wide attempts that I made, but yeah, you do what you can with the package you got. Obviously, it's not no Xfinity or truck package, but you do what you got with, and and there at the end, the 4 gave me a big run after the Ryan incident heading into turn 1 with, I think it was the 33. Not sure who it was, but that kind of screwed up the plans a little bit, but the 4 gave me, he stuck with me down the backstretch heading turn 3. Logan threw a little bit of block on me, and just doing whatever I could with the run. I was not expecting to have a chance, but once I saw I was getting that big of a run, I had to do anything, and I don't know. It was just every man for himself off turn 4.
Yeah, and it obviously provided for some really fun racing and a really good ending. Speaking of the cars a little bit, this is a 28-week season that you guys have here with the L-TAC Cup Series. There's some breaks in there between for Memorial Day and you have a bye week, but a few months of racing. This is the package that we've always had here on iRacing. There really hasn't been any updates because there wasn't any information, but if I had to guess, you guys are going to be maybe in your February, early March, which is going to be right in the middle of the season for you guys. I can really see iRacing dropping an update on these next-gen cars, and then you guys are going to be learning them all over again. So who knows what that's going to be like, but right now, like you said, you kind of take what is given with the next-gen. Some people have them down really well, and it's a natural fit. Other drivers, struggling a little bit with them, trying to get used to it. And it's really just a whole different beast out there compared to the Gen 6. But nonetheless, taking home second place, Hunter Thrower, putting yourself in a really good position for Friday night's race.
Yeah, thank you.
All right, thanks, Hunter.
It's like we may be pulling in another driver here, Robert Pattengale. Yep, there we go. Robert, it's Brandon up into the booth. You got a copy?
10-4.
certainly maybe not ending the way that you would like to, but I think there was a lot more competition in duel number 2 here. You guys stayed up as a pack pretty much throughout the entire race. Talk to us a little bit. There's only 15 cars in these duels, but come Friday, I mean, it's going to be basically a full field. You guys are going to have 30, 35 cars out there. I'm sure there's some stragglers that missed tonight's race. But what you guys proved tonight was in this package on Daytona, not only can you run the outside, but you can get a good run on the outside and make a difference for the lead.
Absolutely. That was, I attribute that really to our practice session we did a couple days ago, where we had a whole group of cars together, not as big as this group, but, testing the setups. And then I worked together with Steven, who's my brother-in-law, and that practice session told us, hey, you can bump, and if you keep it together, you've got a chance to get that outside line working, and that happened.
Yeah, and, despite whatever anybody finishes in these duels, how important is it for these drivers? Especially, it's obviously, it might not be an official race, but it is the first event of the season. It's allowing teammates to work together, and maybe the solo drivers just be able to get out there and calm some nerves. Not all the leagues take advantage of having an event like the duels. This one, L-TAC, obviously taking full advantage of the concept. How important is it, and how much do drivers really appreciate the opportunity to have a system like starting off with the duels?
Oh, I think it's outstanding. I attribute that to, Nolan and Sean and Ryder and the whole crew, the admin guys, because they spend some time putting the whole thing together and understanding, who's going to race with one another, what the strengths and weaknesses are. But the more time you spend together on the track, the better chance you have on race day to have a good show.
Absolutely. Well, we appreciate the time in the 33 car. We'll see you on Friday night. This was the Sound Art Tucson Duels with the L-TAC Cup Series. We appreciate your time, and good luck on Friday.
Absolutely. Thank you, guys. Good race.
Well, once again, guys, Jeff Stambo was the producer, kind of pulling double duties here last minute. We do apologize for all the technical difficulties that we ran into here tonight. On Friday, we'll be back to a normal routine. We'll have the normal producer. We'll have the color commentator in here. But appreciate Jeff's efforts back there. He was trying hard all night long to try and figure everything out, and we'll be tenfold come Friday. We appreciate you guys tuning in. For Jeff Stabnow, I'm Brandon Robinson. This was the L-TAC Cup Series Duels, and we'll see you Friday.